The way the rocket tapers towards the back end and gets smaller at the bottom is called a boat tail. What is a boat tail and why would you put it on a rocket? And more importantly, how do you make one? That's what I'm going to cover in this video. Hi, I'm Tim Van Milligan from Apogee Components. Today I'm going to cover how to make a boat tail. Now, a boat tail on a rocket is used for one purpose, and that's to reduce the drag on the rocket, more specifically the base drag. As the air is coming around, you want it to go down so you don't have a lot of turbulence back here at the back end. That's what causes the base drag. To make one, you want to make a transition, and you can make them out of paper or you could make one out of a nose cone, and that's what I'm going to show you today. You can use any plastic nose cone like this one here, or I'm going to use this vacuform one because it's a little lighter. You want to keep the weight down at the back of the rocket because you want to put as much weight forward of the center of gravity as possible. So make sure your boat tails are pretty lightweight. This is going to be my rocket body tube, and this is going to be the engine mount. It's going to be a 13mm engine mount, so it's nice and small, and this is for like a competition style rocket. Now this is what I want to end up with. I want to end up with the nose cone cut off and then the shoulder glued into it. Now gluing the shoulder in is the easy part. So you just stick it into the shoulder like that. Sometimes they can wiggle back and forth. So what I like to do is to take a body tube, stick it in the body tube, spin it around, make sure it's nice and straight, and then glue it in position. Now this is vacuform plastic, which is very thin and it kind of melts. So I like to use a odorless or a glue that's specifically made for plastics because then it won't melt it. So then I put the glue on and I just wipe it off like that. Okay, so now we need to know where to cut the transition. Or this is now our boat tail. What I do is you can take a centering ring, which is goes on the outside of your engine mount like that. I'm going to take that, I'm going to glue it into a short piece of body tube. I got a piece of plastic here because I'm going to smash it down on the table to get it in. So I'm going to use some thick super glue. Just put a bead of glue in there and then put a little bit on the outside of here. You got to be careful not to get it on your fingers or you're going to stick to yourself. And then press it down. And I want to make sure that it's nice and flush with the tube. So I'm going to push it down nice and hard. And I got some accelerator here which will kick off the super glue. Spray both sides. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to just sand it flat with some sandpaper. Like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take the nose cone and I'm going to put it into the body tube, which I just showed you how to do before. Then I'm going to take this and the end with the ring that I just glued in, I want to stick it on the tube like that, or I'll stick it on the nose cone like that. Now I want to make sure everything is nice and straight so that this tube is parallel with that tube, just like that. Now I'm going to do something that you think is crazy. I'm going to glue the nose cone into that centering ring. Just like that. All right, now I know exactly where to cut. So I'll just take my hobby knife And I'm going to use this as a guide, kind of like those Estes centering or tube cutting rings, which is how I cut this. We sell these at Apogee Components. You'll find them on our website. Just go under the tools section. But that gives you a nice flat edge to put your hobby knife against. And then you just go around the perimeter, and I'm going to do several light passes to go around. Just keep that blade up against the tube so that it's nice and straight. See how nice and straight that is? You can just lightly sand it with some sandpaper. Okay, we're almost there. Now, you notice we got the back end of the shoulder here, and we're just going to cut that off. It doesn't have to be pretty because no one's ever going to see this. This is going to be inside of the rocket. Okay, just like that. Now, lost my paper towel. Gonna need that. Now this is the tube that it's going to go on, and this is going to be glued into the rocket like that. So when you make your engine mount tube, you got to account for the length of that shoulder. So when you put that back ring on the tube, it doesn't interfere with that shoulder. So now it's going to be glued into the rocket just like that. And you'll notice here that the tube is slightly recessed into the, it's slightly recessed into the boat tail just a little bit. And the reason for that is it's going to minimize the drag. The rocket motor will still go in just like that. And it's almost perfect towards the perimeter of the motor itself. So it's all going to be glued in like that. And then the motor, to hold the motor in, you're going to have to use the friction fit method. And I don't particularly like the friction fit method, but when you're doing competition rockets, it's okay because everything is going to be really lightweight. And you're going to be using smaller engines. Now, for high power motors, you definitely don't want to friction fit them. So that is how you make a boat tail for a model rocket. My name, again, is Tim Van Milligan. Please come to the Apogee website. And while you're here, down there underneath the YouTube is a like button and a subscribe button. We'd appreciate it if you would do that for us, to like us and subscribe. And then come to the Apogee website at www.apogeerockets.com.